To Kill a Mockingbird. Welcome again. Below is a comprehensive, in-depth summary of Harper Lee's classic novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. Overview and context. To Kill a Mockingbird is set in the deeply segregated American South during the 1930s, a time when racism and prejudice were institutionalized and the concept of justice was both idealized and perverted. The narrative is delivered through the eyes of Jean Louise "Scout" Finch, as she recounts her childhood experiences growing up in the small town of Maycomb, Alabama. The story interweaves themes of racial injustice, moral growth, and the coexistence of good and evil in society. Scout's narration carries a reflective tone, one that is at once nostalgic for her lost innocence and critical of the social inequities around her. Plot and structure. The novel unfolds episodically, blending the seemingly mundane adventures of childhood with the profound societal issues that confront the town. The early chapters are marked by Scout's everyday life, her interactions with her older brother Jem, her friend Dill, and their collective fascination with the mysterious recluse Boo Radley. The children's imaginative interpretations of Boo, ranging from fearful speculation to wild myth-making, encapsulate the theme of misunderstood innocence. As Scout notes, people generally see what they look for and hear what they listen for, a hint at the inherent biases that pervade human perception. A significant portion of the narrative is dedicated to the trial of Tom Robinson, a black man unjustly accused of raping a white woman, Mayella Ewell. Atticus Finch, Scout and Jem's father, and a principled lawyer, is appointed to defend him. Through Atticus's measured, unwavering commitment to justice, Lee paints a picture of moral fortitude in the face of overwhelming social prejudice. Despite the evidence clearly establishing Tom's innocence, the entrenched racism of the community leads to a guilty verdict. This miscarriage of justice lays bare the deep-seated racial inequalities in the legal system, prompting readers to question the very nature of truth, fairness, and humanity.
During the trial, the narrative slows its pace, almost as if inviting the reader to reflect on the inherent cruelty of a system that can condemn an innocent man merely on the basis of the color of his skin. Atticus's calm and reasoned speech in court stands in stark contrast with the angry, prejudiced rhetoric exhibited by many in the community. As he asserts, the one place where a man ought to get a fair trial is in a courtroom, be he any color of the rainbow. Although this statement is not a direct quote from the text, it captures the spirit of Atticus's defense, a call for fairness and equality under the law. Themes and literary devices. One of the central symbols in the novel is the mockingbird itself. Within the story, mockingbirds represent innocence and the idea that to harm innocent creatures, be they animals or human beings, is a sin. This symbolism is reinforced through several key passages, including the admonition that it's a sin to kill a mockingbird, a line that resonates both literally and metaphorically throughout the narrative. The mockingbird is embodied in characters like Tom Robinson, whose unjust fate reflects the destructive consequences of racial prejudice, and Boo Radley, who, despite being misunderstood and vilified by local lore, ultimately reveals a gentle, protective nature. The narrative also delves into the complexities of human morality. Through the experiences and maturation of Scout and Jem, Lee explores how exposure to the harsh realities of injustice can shatter childhood illusions and force a confrontation with the duality of human nature. Their journey is marked by a gradual loss of innocence, as both siblings are made painfully aware that people are often not as virtuous or rational as they might appear on the surface. In a reflective moment, Jem laments, "It ain't right Atticus, expressing the deep inner conflict caused by witnessing such stark injustice. The statement, simple yet profound, captures the emotional toll that societal corruption takes on even the youngest minds. Characterization and moral complexity. Central to the novel's enduring power is its rich character portrayal. Atticus Finch emerges as the moral center of the narrative, a man whose sense of justice, empathy, and unwavering commitment to the truth challenges the status quo. His parenting style, which is gentle yet firm, encourages both Scout and Jem to question the conventions of their society. Atticus's own words, such as, "You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view, until you climb into his skin and walk around in it," serve not only as lessons for his children, but also as guiding principles for the reader, emphasizing empathy as the key to bridging social divides. Scout, as the narrator, embodies both the innocence of youth and the potential for growth into moral awareness. Her observations are often colored by the simplicity of childhood, yet underscored by a keen sensitivity to the injustices around her. Throughout the book, she shifts between a child's unfiltered perception and a reflective, mature understanding of the events unfolding around her. The character of Boo Radley further illustrates the theme of misjudgment, initially portrayed through the lens of local superstition and rumor, as a figure to be feared, but gradually becomes a symbol of the misunderstood and marginalized. His eventual act of saving Scout and Jem from danger recontextualizes his character from that of an eerie recluse to a compassionate guardian, a shift that mirrors the novel's broader assertion that one must look beyond surface appearances to find true character. In one pivotal moment, Scout reflects, "I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand." While this line directly praises moral courage over physical strength, it also encapsulates the transformative power of empathy and understanding. Excerpts and reflections. Throughout the novel, Lee's prose is interspersed with memorable excerpts that have resonated with readers for decades. Early in the book, when describing the town of Maycomb, Scout observes, "Maycomb was an old town, but it was a tired old town when I first knew it." This opening line not only sets the atmospheric tone for the novel, but also hints at the stagnation and outdated values that permeate the community. Later, during the trial, the slow, painful progression of events and the weighing of evidence underscore the deep dissonance between the law as it is written and the law as it is practiced. Atticus's closing arguments, laden with appeals to common decency and justice, remain some of the most compelling moments in American literature, urging the listener and the reader to confront their own prejudices. Another powerful excerpt occurs during a moment of personal insight for Jem, as he grapples with the reality that the world is not as just as he had once believed. His disillusionment with the verdict is not merely a reaction to a legal error, but a profound awakening to the pervasive nature of hatred and ignorance. This internal struggle is captured in the measured, somber tone that defines much of the latter half of the book, a tone that invites readers to pause and reflect on the cost of such a divided society. Final thoughts and enduring legacy. To Kill a Mockingbird is more than just a story about racial injustice. It is a meditation on the loss of innocence, the complexity of human morality, and the enduring need for empathy in a fractured world. Through its richly drawn characters, deliberate pacing, and thought-provoking dialogue, the novel challenges its audience to question the structures of authority and to look beyond the surface to recognize the inherent dignity of every individual. At its heart, Harper Lee's work remains a clarion call for understanding and compassion. One of the most poignant lessons the novel teaches is that true courage is not defined by physical prowess, but by the willingness to stand up for what is right, even when doing so means standing alone. As the narrative gently reminds us through both its exposition and its characters' actions, you never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. This invitation to empathy is perhaps the most enduring message of To Kill a Mockingbird, urging every reader to strive to see the world and its inhabitants with a more compassionate, discerning eye. In summary, To Kill a Mockingbird is a layered narrative that artfully combines the innocence of childhood with the sobering realities of prejudice and injustice. The book's deliberate pace, interspersed with reflective pauses and understated wisdom, allows readers to absorb and contemplate its multiple themes. This unique blend of narrative simplicity and profound moral inquiry ensures that the novel remains a seminal work in the canon of American literature, one whose lessons continue to resonate in today's society.